Well, that was a nice little bit of a gift at the end. Were you expecting it to be a draw, or was you...
Well, of course I was expecting it to be a draw, but at the same time I had taken a lot of time to find this queen a2 check twig. So despite the fact that it's very typical, I mean, it's always easy to forget it.
Yeah.
But it's very typical. I mean, it
And
happened in a lot of...
many games. Yeah.
But it also happened in many games. I know that both players didn't see it. So
Right.
Yes.
Right. It was just a missed tactic. I always remember this one. Black has a king on b8 and a bishop on c8, pardon me, and a queen on e7 and a pawn on a7. That's all. White has a pawn on b7 and a queen on f2. And you go queen a7 and then you
promote to a knight.
Yeah, under promote. Yeah, that's right.
I had the pleasure
to play such a line.
To promote to a knight, but in different circumstances.
Take us through the game. Just all you need is the arrow key. And okay, so you're happy. You're playing your favorite Najdorf.
Well, I'm happy, but at the same time, there are so many lines to remember.
Yes.
Fortunately, I had rechecked a little bit this line this morning because,
some expectation you might get here.
I was not really expecting them3, but okay, you have to refresh lines, especially here because, say, if you don't look at this line for a week, then it's very difficult to remember anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, this line I had played a couple of times already. So, Rook G1 is...
a theoretical move. It's been played before.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be the main trend for White now.
Okay.
So
let us know when, let us say, the novelty has appeared or the new idea, because these patterns are very well
this is
charted.
Very well known. Well, here first of all I deviated from my game against Caruana because I had just blundered one tempi against Fabiano with Queen C7, but G6 is a much better move. Is
an improvement?
Yes, but it's been played
also. It's like now you remembered the better move.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Here
and he went.
E3 is supposed also to be one of the main turns. There's also H4, and here.
Pardon me.
Yeah. So here Knight D5 is
also a try by White has been played in the past.
Yeah, but here so basically we get. My game against Fabiano, but with a tempo up, which is always quite nice.
The useful move G6 as opposed to what you did.
And here, Black wouldn't have such a great position if you didn't have this Knight F4 idea all the time. But with Knight F4, you more or less hold it together.
Okay.
So A3 is supposed to be the try, because now I have to play Queen C7, and now, you get the useful move A3 in case Black takes on.
Agreed.
Yeah. So Bishop D7, I don't know if it's supposed to be a new try, but at least I played it in rapid against Dominguez. So the game went Bishop D3, Bishop D8, Knight C6, take, pawn takes, and now D5, which is why Bishop D3 is not so clear. So the game went like C3, Queen C6, Bishop C2, and here, if I remember well, Black. Yeah, I played D4 take, and here I took, which was a bit dubious because Bishop B6 should be okay. Anyway,
it's a long.
It's food for
theoretical.
thoughts. There are plenty of moves for White. H4 is, of course, one of them. Well, if I don't play Bishop D8, then White can really improve because I could maybe play F5, but it's also very tricky in case White opens the centers and the king is not really safe.
Okay.
So, Knight C6 has to be.
So when you played the move Bishop D8, by the way, I was actually very happy to have Matthew Sadler join me. In the two of us, I basically took a back seat and told him, figure it out for me. It's actually there's a lot of complications after Knight C6, and you have to see what looks like a very long, complicated line.
Well, I didn't see everything, of course, but I decided that Well,
Yes.
yeah, but
The first
here
point
queen f3 is not
was-
so good, yeah?
Well, it took us a while to figure it out, and that wasn't the move we figured out, by the way. That was not our move.
You
thought
thought
we were
bishop
go-
b6?
Yeah, we were thinking bishop b6.
Yeah, because Ivan also was thinking bishop b6, but
Yeah, rook
bishop
d3,
b6,
you
I
think?
thought rook c6 simply.
No, it wasn't that clear. We were
No,
looking
of
at
course.
queen. Oh, pardon me. Queen f3. This is our analysis. Sorry
Yes.
that I.
But rook d3 is much more powerful, I thought.
Yeah, and here the point, of course, is rook c6. It looks very strong for you, but we
maybe
thought that you
yeah.
rejected it because of a line that involved
Bishop g2, yes?
Yes, we thought, okay, somehow.
Yeah, it's not so good.
Queen f3.
But
but you-
wait.
but you-
Because,
Oh, sorry. Yes?
Don't I have king e7 here?
I have also rook check.
King e8? Well, I mean, it's...
And then bishop g2. Or
rook b6. I mean, you can repeat moves, but probably you cannot do better.
right. I mean, so it wasn't like white. Our fear was that queen
Yeah.
f3 was winning for you, like the two bishops were hanging.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
rook d3,
But rook
rook
d3?
d3 might just be much better for white, because I cannot take the bishop. I mean, bishop c5 is quite unpleasant, I would say.
Yeah, I would say too. I'd have to agree with that one. Okay, so in fact, bishop c5 is
Yeah.
a kind of a threat, in fact, in the
Yeah,
position.
rook d3 is clever.
And if you go back, then of course.
No, the endgame is
queen.
not
Oh
good.
no! I thought you were taking on e5. The endgame. This is fearsome.
Well, what do I do?
I had to move my bishop to a square. Shall we try bishop b6, bishop d7? Isn't
Yeah,
fear?
so bishop c7, but yeah, these endgames, I mean, even if it's a pawn up, it's always a bit worrying.
By the way, because I was an old dragon player and I liked it very much when somehow I would get a massive number of pawns on the on the
no,
king
this
side.
of course you always
If
look
I-
at this, but I think
Too
you
slow?
can.
Too
no,
slow?
I mean,
Just simply protect.
yes.
And yeah.
White might be better. I mean, it's not so clear, of course, but
Right.
when I saw that queen c2 is, I mean,
Strong.
of course, I knew when I took on c6 that I had this option to play queen f3, and in the worst case, I'm getting this.
Right.
But well, then I
That queen
started to
takes c2.
calculate. and
Yes.
Yes, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe king a2 changes something, but well, it also looks a bit tricky to do queen c4 check, queen takes h4 anytime.
In some cases, yeah.
But maybe it's playable.
But king a1 was so
yeah.
normal, yeah?
Yeah, it's so natural that you want.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was an option, yeah, because the idea is after rook c1, black doesn't have queen b3 anymore. I mean, if you
Attacking bishop e3, for example. Yes. So actually, it's a very complex position
knight
at this moment.
Yeah.
And you felt okay about it?
Yeah, I felt it should be a forced draw somewhere.
Forced draw.
Yeah.
Are you like Houdini and 0-0-0-0 for the
No,
position?
I just know that Houdini always gives 0-0.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
Yeah. I mean, queen e5 is not so good because I prevent mate. Yeah, there were
Very
so many lines to calculate. And here,
Mhm.
well, I mean, I can play queen f5, but even this probably is good for me. So, I mean, what I was focused on was bishop d7.
This was Matthew Sadler's move, by the way. He thought it was a very positional idea of just kind of
Yeah.
cutting the board.
So here before is not so powerful, but I think knight e2 is the first draw.
Why?
Well, I mean, if you play rook d2, then queen c4, and knight
Okay.
c1 is a threat,
Okay.
and queen e5 is not good. Knight g1, bishop d4, queen d4. This is winning.
Okay.
So far it's possible to follow. I mean, queen d4, yeah, it's just...
Knight f3.
Yeah, knight d4. So
Yes.
the fork is fatal.
Fatal. The fork is fatal. Ah, nice.
So...
But you said it's a forced draw. Where did the forced draw come from?
So rook d2 is probably not so good.
Yes.
And rook g2 also is not so good because of bishop e7.
And rook d1 is hanging. Very
So
important.
rook
tempo.
e1. was
Okay.
the no, if I play knight d4, this is very unpleasant. Bishop d4 and white threatens mate with queen f8.
Yes, unpleasant sensations.
Yeah, rook d7, queen d7, and now rook e8 comes. So
Yes.
So I thought I have to play knight c3.
And this, wow. Okay. Cool. What happens next?
What happens next? Well, if white plays rook d2,
Very natural.
it's not clear as perpetual, but actually black is winning. This is
Nice variation.
yeah. This is
So already when you see a variation like this, you see a possibility of sacrificing, for example, a rook, and it makes you feel a little bit more confident about the actual game, because
Yes.
it also has tangibly
and also,
similar.
I mean, when you feel you also calculate variations well. I mean, it makes you feel okay. It should be okay also for the follow-up of the game.
Very good.
So rook c1 has to be
Okay.
played.
Mm-hmm.
Just promote maniac. So queen b3 take and rook d7 and perpetual is coming.
This was the 0-0-0 that you... Okay.
Exactly.
Nice.
So this was the move I was expecting. Bishop g4, yeah, I couldn't believe. I mean, to be completely honest, I forgot white had bishop takes f4, but I couldn't believe it's a real try. Because, I mean, I can also play knight e2, this, but before felt too natural, so I didn't really bother.
But here, aren't you afraid of somehow rook d2? Because there's no more fatal fork on
Yeah.
f3.
Yeah, but rook d2... I think it's not the same story. You cannot take on e5, that's rook e7.
Aha. Rook e7. And so I
So,
have
and
to
if-
play rook e1.
Yeah, and then knight c1. Or even knight d4, because now the bishop is on g4, you don't threaten mate.
Right. And, the knight on b3.
But
no.
knight c1, yes.
Knight c1 is excellent. No. Something has gone wrong. I've misplaced
Yeah.
my pieces.
And if you play rook e1,
Yes.
no, knight d4, I guess. This... I'm not
How
completely
big
sure.
a threat is knight b3 check? If I
Yeah,
swallow the pawn? Yeah.
yeah, you can swallow, but... I mean, maybe I'm going wrong, because this is a line I didn't really check during the game. But, okay. Queen c4, queen d5.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean...
It looks a little bit... Yeah.
There
But
are so many lines, but...
But your judgment was excellent then.
Yeah, but I just checked. I mean, I just saw that the computer was giving knight e2.
Aha.
Yeah, I mean, that's why. Just saw right after the game. But yeah, because I also have, to be honest, I also have bishop e7 ideas. This is also...
With bishop a3
Yeah, this is another trick.
hovering.
I mean...
Queen e5 and...
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
dreaming,
clear.
of course, of the dark square. Oops.
This was the idea, but maybe it doesn't work at all.
I
No, it just... Yeah,
have to hold my breath for a
it's-
moment, yeah? Rook d2,
Yeah.
queen a4.
Yes, of course. Yeah, this still sounds good for black.
My spidey sense is tingling here. I don't like this.
Yeah, c3.
My king is very exposed.
So many lines to
Exactly.
consider. So, okay. I mean, at least it was an option.
Yes.
But, okay. But before really felt natural. So
Okay.
here, okay, you cannot really take on before with the queen. You can, but it doesn't look so good. So rook c1.
Yes.
Yeah, and this I had missed.
You missed bishop f4.
You know,
Well,
such
I
a simple move.
thought the game had a very, very logical flow.
No,
So
but
I
I mean,
thought
I
that
missed. No, I missed before. I mean, I missed before when I played before.
So when you played b4, the
Yeah,
actual
but
game
then I
continued.
noticed b takes
Do-
a3.
With the benefit of hindsight, do you think that b4 was still the best move? Because one of the moves we were looking at
I
many
would
moves.
have looked at
92,
92 much.
rook c4. There were some other lines.
I would have looked at 92 much more closely, of course.
Okay.
But
So then this caused you to stop a moment. You go, oh
no. Here, I mean, no. When I
yeah.
no, it's here that it caused me to stop a moment because I also have queen d3. So I noticed bishop f4, but I also noticed it's okay for me.
Okay, that's
Yeah. So bishop f4 take. No, rook c7 is a good move. This endgame is actually unpleasant for white. Takes pawn takes, and no, you absolutely don't exchange rooks.
and
you-
white's king is not as safe as
Exactly,
black's,
that's why you
and-
need two rooks.
Yes, it's looking two
It's
results.
not much, but
But
yeah,
it's
two
two
results.
results. Yeah.
So rook c7, and no, okay, this is the trick I had in sight.
So rook g2.
Yeah, rook b1, of course, doesn't feel natural, and it probably isn't any good. So rook g2 is very normal. Maybe rook b1 is still enough for a draw, but okay. Yeah, and here, well, first of all, I didn't see the trick I had, so I was going for rook e8, but rook e8 allows also queen a5 here. I was not completely sure I had a draw, although, well, it feels like there should be.
Yes, it feels like
because this bishop is completely outplayed, and
right.
Yeah, but still, you need to. I mean, it's better to find the first draw, which I saw I had. So
yes,
let's just.
This was our main line. Yes.
Yeah, queen a4, b2. So
yes.
Here you have two options, but okay, let's first check this one. King c2, queen c5. No, king d1, queen g1. This is first draw.
Yes.
Queen b2. This is a bit more tricky, but it's also a draw as well. And here, I don't remember. Yeah, queen d2, king b3. Now, queen d3, king b4 is not a draw yet. It should be, but it's not a draw yet.
This
so
is
queen
the
e3,
accurate check.
king
Yes.
a4, queen e8.
Aha.
You cannot go to a5.
Right.
So you come back.
Yes.
Now you come back to a2, queen d2, queen b2, queen a5 check. Well, king b1, say, queen e1, queen c2, king b3, queen b5, king c3, queen e5, and this is perpetual by force.
Bravo. That seemed like a nice little 20-move perpetual where the king was being chased. But did you get, I mean, at a certain moment you understand you have the pattern and you don't have to calculate further.
Yes.
But you just showed that actually for the audience because you realized that you had the
Yes.
perpetualing pattern. Because if you calculated all 20 moves, I'm going to beat you. Like, my God, how deeply
No, I
do you look at
calculated that
chess?
too, but
Very nice.
This is not so much, actually.
Very good.
Also, I mean, even if you make a mistake, you can probably just grab this pawn here or something.
That was my other point I was
And
making. It should be a draw. Yes, precisely so.
But it's not completely obvious, for instance, after king a2, because queen f2, queen b2, queen h4,
check and
you get this pawn. It's still a draw, of course, but
right.
Okay.
Better
safe than
would
sorry.
have reasons for playing on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bravo. Nice game. Nice game. Afterwards, he must have felt terrible. I saw him at the board. You talked a little bit about queen c1, I'm sure, because he really had a blind spot with his queen a2 and promote the pawn.
It happens, and
yeah,
it's a tough blow, of course, but it happens to everyone. I mean,
yeah,
and like I said, I mean, even though it's very typical, a lot of people have missed it in the past.
A lot.
And it also took me a lot of time to find it. Actually, it was not after rook d2, but after rook c2, but it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
And it took me like 3 or 4 minutes to just notice it.
Yeah. Yesterday's game, you gave us a great deal of pleasure. What a wild game with Dingler. I mean, but one of the things that was really shocking to me was he played like the first 18 moves, I don't know, so very, very, very fast. And you were taking 5 minutes and play a few moves, and then he would be answering. Intimidating that you feel like you fell into your opponent's preparation?
Well, it's always the case, but I felt I had found the most principled way of answering with knight d5 and g4.
Right.
This was very important for confidence to know that. Also, I calculated quite well because I expected king f7, then I saw g4, if bishop a4, knight f6, and knight g5, and the bishop is caught.
Yeah.
Stuff like this. And so, when you feel you calculate well variations, you're ready to face the preparation of your opponent. Also, I knew that f6 was not given by the computer, so it means it shouldn't be that good.
Yeah. So you had a feelings of confidence.
Then apparently I missed a win somewhere. I think queen g3, but knight
Then
f6 and bishop h5 felt natural. So, but of course I had considered queen g3, but I thought it was also double edge. And then actually I missed something. I missed something at some point when I played a bit too fast. When I took on g6 and played bishop f4, I missed some idea with bishop h4 and bishop takes f2. which was leading to
Right, we have seen it actually, yes.
Yeah, and
Oops.
then I had to play rook e2, but here I had seen the line that was good for him. Rook h5 and bishop h4. With the idea rook takes f4, this would have been very unpleasant to face.
But again, it was really a wild game, and it gave us a great deal of pleasure. Again, Max, thank you very much, and good luck in the tournament. There's everything to play for, and
I mean,
it's nice to have some.
It's nice to have recovered well also after my loss against Ivan Saric. Although, well, I felt I had been playing okay since the beginning of the tournament, and in that game I couldn't solve the problems I got after an early inaccuracy, but also Vachier played very well. So
He did.
yes.
He did. Sometimes the genius shows time to time.
Actually, I think he's again playing very well.
I do too.
Against Anish. I mean, it's not clear he's doing so well, but
Oh well, if you have a moment, I don't want to press you or keep you from any of your preparations you have to make or what have you. Oh, this was by the way, Badar, who's having a gross tournament, really took out one of the tournament leaders.
At some point, I was afraid that I would be the only one to give something to him, but
No, thankfully. Okay, this is the World Champions game. What have we? This is when we left it. Let us say more or less around these parts, so it looks.
Yeah, this is just very unclear. So
messy, definitely.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just really messy.
Okay, black's a pawn up, but all the bishops. Wow.
No, it would just take too much time to really consider lines here.
Yes, exactly. We're just kind of
only
getting
thing
to
is
a
that
position.
here, I mean, you might consider queen e8. Oh, here. You might consider for a second queen e8, but this is not good, of course. Well, I mean, it's still not a mate, actually, after g6.
Exactly.
It's still not a mate, so...
But maybe queen e4 and you're getting the queen maybe over to the king's side, you might be scared.
My point is it's still not a mate.
Still not a mate. Queen h4.
Rook e6.
Rook e6.
No, this could be good for black.
h5, perhaps?
Rook f6, rook h7, you want?
Something like that. The king may have to go for a run. And checking, and let's capture some things back.
Yeah, no, this is unclear, I agree.
It's one of those things. We sacrifice 2 rooks.
Yeah,
if it doesn't work, we take
bishop
our moves
g5.
back.
No, but bishop g5
Bishop
is
g5.
winning, probably.
Yes, the feeling is there, yes, that there's some combination.
Yeah,
but queen e8 has to be checked, as you say.
Yeah, it really has to be checked, because it could just work, simply.
Precisely. With 2 rooks hanging, and the variation looks very, very forcing.
Yeah. But, of course...
Okay, yeah.
No, but wait, maybe here this could be unpleasant. This is very unpleasant.
That's a nasty one.
Because just for the audience, queen h4 is mate.
Yes.
And if you take, this is also mate. Quite prosaic one with that. Yeah, bishop d5 next.
Exactly. Wow, sweet. Well, you saw that in an instant. Let us just say we were back here. And, sorry, so this was the moment we looked at queen e8.
Yeah.
Queen e6 was played.
Yeah,
and
this is just very unclear, because black is still a pawn up. But, of course, you have some problems on the queen side.
Also, the bishop is not really working.
You could just play f5, bishop f1, rook c8.
I'm also...
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's
a tasty square.
Thank you. Tasty square. I like that. Yeah. Vasil. And Anish, of course, is
extremely unclear. But, of course, no, Vasily is done on his last few minutes. So
oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. 3 minutes for... 30 minutes for Anish.
Yeah, but
22 moves.
Yeah, but he has a very, very... I mean... important move to make now, and then his moves are
they come very quickly.
Yes.
So either he plays f5 and f5 maybe, or knight c5,
maybe
or
even rook d8. Maybe you can just play rook d8.
aren't you afraid of giving up the e4 pawn, or do you not worry?
I'm never afraid.
And you never retreat.
Yeah, queen e4. No, but no. I would play rook d1 check first.
Of course. And then we go up c-board.
Yes. I was trying to. Yeah. Oh, nothing works. Okay, so this is not so good problem.
Okay, but f5. Well, knight c5, a very serious move. I suppose after knight c5, we all love. What did you say? Juicy square.
Tasty.
Tasty square.
25.
Or, we're here.
Yes, r5.
Hard to say. I'm not sure. Bishop f1.
Yeah, bishop f1 and now rook c8 simply.
Now rook c8 simply.
He played. He didn't play any of these moves.
He did typical. I find it very hard for some reason to guess Vasily Ivanchuk's move. Anish was just walking around. Yeah, he's just like, let my opponent use all the time on his clock.
Yeah. So what did
okay, what did he do?
Rook a8. This is interesting. I was also considering this move.
E3, rook a8. So he
this
keeps
is an
f5.
ambitious move. This is a very ambitious move.
Because? Why is it ambitious?
You just want to keep this pawn on c4.
True.
I don't see anything to add.
You think that maybe rook c5, knight a5 is a possibility? Or
No,
just
of course it's an option.
Yeah. Well, I understand that it would be wonderful from White's perspective if he could put the knight on, the rook on b6.
Definitely cannot yet.
But a5...
No, you probably have to play bishop f1 now.
Bishop f1? Well, then there's
Yeah.
no... you haven't obligated the move f5 for some...
Yes.
So bishop f1... do you really want to snap?
Yes,
this
is,
one?
Of course.
Then make a draw. Yeah.
Well, it's not a draw yet, but...
Not 0-0-0.
No, because... But, yeah, it should still be fine. Maybe you can just play some king g7. Okay, king g7 is a bit early. It's a bit early, but...
It's a move, and we were just...
No, rook e7.
Okay.
You will understand.
To defend pawn on b7 in some long-winded... No?
Rook c4.
Queen.
Rook a4. I mean, of course you defend, but yeah. Here if the rook was on e8, you wouldn't take on h7.
By grabbing the pawn and the king on g... Well, you take the rook on e8, but it wouldn't be check.
Yeah.
The king would be on g7.
Yeah. But you would just...
take the rook.
But rook d8 and queen b4. I mean,
yes.
This is okay for white as well.
Exactly. No, this is fine for white.
Yeah, but...
So, all results possible. Let's just see. Let's go around the stage. But again, Vasil far low on his clock is a second. By the way, congratulations, rook e7. I mean, I think it shows that you may have serious problems, that you can guess Vasil's move.
Oh,
but we have a therapist.
Wait, because also, I mean, it probably doesn't work, but after bishop c4, rook c4, queen b3, you also have rook d4.
Now I have to go back. I beg your pardon. Where we were bishop c4, rook c4. Oh, pardon me. Rook c4, queen b3. I have what?
Rook d4.
After this.
D4, rook d4. But yeah, probably just nothing.
Trickies.
Yeah, queen c2, rook d1, and rook somewhere. But okay, this is not so
yeah,
impressive.
I understand. Yeah.
This is not. Also, after rook takes c4, you can actually play rook d8 check first.
We just go back a moment. The inclusion of the rook d8 check.
King g7.
King g7.
Queen b3. And
hold on. I'm sorry. My mouse seems to have disappeared to the other screen. Take.
Yeah, this is just... Yeah, you can't... Yeah, but I don't like allowing queen b4. So, yeah, I'm not sure about all these moves.
Mm-hmm. But I think a draw. Well, it's quite
It's still
level.
quite-
It feels
the-
level, yeah?
Yeah, it feels level, but there's still a lot of play involved.
Without question. Absolutely. Wesley So, Timur Rashabov.
I think black is fine.
I think so too.
Black.
Balanced position,
Yeah.
so to speak. Let's continue our walk around the stage. Fabiano Levon Aronian. What can you tell? In my, well, let's just say for the last 5-7 years, in my mind somehow I've just put Levon Aronian at number 2 in the world and kept him there. But in truth, in the last 12 months or so, he's really slipped a lot. Do you have any insights to why he's in bad form? Or?
Well, he's been definitely struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I cannot really. I mean, here, for instance, he looked like to have an extremely promising position, and now suddenly it's not that great anymore.
Yes.
It's really not that great. So, but I cannot really explain. I mean,
Something's missing in his play, yeah?
yeah, something's missing, and he had started last year so well in VAC, and then maybe, I mean, just a maybe it's, I mean, the way he played in the candidates, which was obviously the most important event of the year.
Clear.
And then, I mean, it could have
The
been a
break
serious
is-
blow.
yeah.
This could be a reason.
Well, you point out a very good point. I mean, it's like, I think Vasil taking a player who is so promising, winning event after event, making marvelous 9.5 from 11 kind of scores. Somehow when he gets to that world championship qualifying for the match or something like that, when he's really close, let's say candidates, then he has a failure.
Yeah, when it really matters.
When it really matters. And Levon and the candidates really has not distinguished himself
Yes.
honorably. What happened here? So help me, Max. You're very fast. The bishop is hanging, but he went queen g6.
Okay, I think rook b5 is not so good.
I'm sure you will explain instantly.
Actually, no.
Well, I
knight
make,
d4, knight d4,
yes.
knight f5, yes.
And there was
This is-
some awkward, but that's a very strange tactic, isn't it?
yeah, but queen g5, knight h6 check, so...
Knight h6 check. That's very, very important. So knight d4. Okay. Normally speaking, the 2900 guys, they don't hang their pieces. So he just had to check. And very...
Yeah, but it seems like it's... no, there's of course some counterplay. I missed that the pawn on a7 was hanging. Because, okay, it's a good thing to calculate lines, of course,
Mhm.
but if you don't see hanging pawns, then it doesn't really matter so much.
And
But here, then you can play rook c1, probably.
rook, this one, of
Yeah.
course, yes.
But still, I would prefer black. But at
Really?
least-
You prefer black?
Well, he's a pawn up at the moment, so...
Mm,
And
the-
this
the-
king is
these-
pretty safe. The king
The
is
exposed
really safe.
king doesn't
No, it's
scare
really
you?
safe, no.
Really? Okay.
It's as safe as you can get.
Rook c1, your turn. Well, you have a safe king.
No, but no, I mean you can play bishop f5, for instance. I mean.
Okay, bishop f5 I like,
Yeah,
because first of all, it just does mean
yeah, no, bishop d3. Of course,
Yeah,
is the idea.
that.
But
okay.
queen a7, I don't know. Maybe white is holding, but it looks at least okay for black.
Very cool. That was the B tournament. This is
Yeah.
this. This is this. This is more or less the balanced position.
Okay.
This is the line that we have discussed with Vasil. Sorry, just a second. Let me bring... Oh, I got it. My walking around the stage is not that impressive.
This is actually okay because I
You
mean for
For who
I
you
mean
found, yeah?
against Magnus it's not the kind of positions you normally want to have, but here it just feels so solid for for Ivan. So
Yeah, it does. This looks like a little
winning
bit
for black.
wild, crazy
No,
two
just
pawns,
winning
but
for
just b5, a4. Well, I remember there's a World Blitz Championship, and I have it in mind. It was a game that Nakamura was black against Shaq.
yeah,
Where there was an unbelievable storm of black pawns.
Yeah.
It was very, very funny to
But here I
to
think
witness.
he was winning, yeah.
But here it just looks winning. Yeah, very, very, very nice. A tweet on Yobava. What do we have? Good guy. I hate draws. We go all in for a win against Magnus tomorrow. Well, that's
Yeah,
he's true to his nature,
normally
right?
he aged was, but in this tournament against me, because he had a bit of bad experiences when trying to push
Yes.
a bit too much.
Too much. He respected you and he held back. He didn't go all in, yeah? He didn't
Yeah.
go all in.
Not at all. This was very unpleasant.
that you don't get the real...
Yeah, normally the story of our games with Badur is that whenever I'm winning,
Yes.
and when I say I'm winning, I'm a piece up, it ends in a draw.
Okay.
But when it's unclear or even is pushing a little bit, then
Your chances are even better of winning than when you're a piece up.
Yeah,
I like it.
But here, because in that game actually I was 1 hour ahead on the clock, but it wasn't even close to enough to even do something. I mean, because he could exchange everything simply.
Wow. Max, again, thank you so much for joining us. It's really a pleasure. I hope you come back and...
I hope I have reasons to come
yeah,
back.
that's what I wanted to mean. With reason. Okay, very good. Have a good evening. Thank you. Well, everybody, that was a real treat to have France's #1 player and, world candidate, I would say, Maxime Vichier-Lagrave, MVL as he is known to friends and fans alike, where I know it's a little bit time trouble, but it's necessary for me to take a break, and we'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes with further coverage of the 2015 Tata Steel Chess Festival. We'll be back.